Hey everybody. Hey Marie, I am so sorry about I don't know what was going on at with the MacBook today, but nothing was working at all. I rebooted it 3 times. I think I had like something playing in the background that I didn't know about. So that's a my bad on that one because I'm so good with the MacBook. My apologies. So sorry. 20 minutes late. Very, very, very bad. But you could ask Maria. I was backstage with her. I'm like, the mouse isn't working. Nothing's clicking. I can't figure this stuff out. I couldn't even go live.
I was giving them updates in the chat, so
I couldn't even go live. Wouldn't even go live. So I was like, all right. So let's see who's here. Hi. Okay, Curtilin, Maria, Barbie, Julie, Maureen, Perfectly Imperfect, Nancy O, Dobby Ween, Velvet Pixie, Christina B, Sarah Z. Seraph. How you doing? There we go. And Ellie, hello. Stacy. Patrick, my mail. MTT. Trying to go like real fast because I am super, super late.
It's all good.
And wait, I'm like Dorit Kelmsley late. Keela Bila. Paige Clunk. Digital Pen. Natalie, hello. Her Royal Highness, Sarah Geneva. Oh, heebity beebity, the Royal Highness, Miss Sarah Geneva's in attendance. Oh. Hello.
Let us all tip our hats.
Highness Sarah Geneva. Denise 43. Mary, Tina L. Elizabeth M. Amanda S. Brooke Bailey. Sometimes I use like the initial, sometimes I don't.
Oh no.
Okay, so what we're gonna get through tonight is let's talk about the Ben and Mahogany stuff because that literally just happened. Hold on, I'm gonna
pull. What's the Ben and Mahogany stuff?
Hold on. I'm gonna pull. I'm just gonna pull something up, and I had to put my face all up in the camera, so I'd rather just be graceful about it. But I'm here. I don't want to put my readers on to see the small print. Okay. So we have In Touch. There we go. That's one article I wanted to pull up. And then that's the wrong article. I just had it. So what froze my computer. Hold on. Here we go.
What you posted in your stories?
No, that's the one from that's the Ben and Mahogany. The one from In Touch is what I wanted to cover the new cast with, and then I want to pull up my Instagram for the trailer for the new cast, and then I want to pull up all. I had this all pulled up, and maybe that's why my computer just said "F you" so hard the way it did to me just now because I had this all ready to go, and my computer said, "I'm an old girl." So you can't overload me like this. And I was like, fine. So hold on. What was the third thing? We had the Mahogany, the Instagram. All right, we'll work with this for now. Okay, so there is a YouTuber who just posted today. I think she goes by the name of, let's see. Claudia Lima. And Miss Lima did like a 1.5-minute video on YouTube that just happened where she looked, I guess, at Mahogany's Facebook profile, which is now not there. And in one of the posts, it says Mahogany's friend wrote to her saying, ready to be an actress. And Mahogany said, yeah, heart sign. Then she was, they were looking at her Facebook information. Then they found out Mahogany follows a famous theater school in Peru called the Club de Lima, whatever theater school. Then they find a picture of Mahogany in the background, and they say, yes, that's Mahogany, is an actress, graduated from that school. Okay. Now, there's a couple things to say because people aren't, I think some of the comments, people are saying that that girl is not Mahogany from that. But I had an insider text me and say, hold on. And to fill in, Maria, because I know I've been going at full speed trying to get this all out.
No, it was all good. It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
no, I will say it didn't look that much like her, but sometimes in pictures like that, you turn your head at a weird angle and suddenly you look like a completely different person. So I'm just gonna trust that person knows what they're talking about, but I can understand being skeptical.
Hey, Addie. Hey, Brooke Bailey. But my friend who's in that biz said, he said, plus, as I said, those pictures are headshots for either acting or modeling. And there's a picture of her much younger and thinner, and that's what those pictures are from. If you could look on her Instagram, you will see her with her mom, and she's skinny there. It looks very similar to the pictures. So that means she's been pursuing this kind of thing for a very long time. Also, that video clip that she sent to Ben looks like it's from something else and is cut off, probably an audition tape. Or it could be something else, of course, but I think it's more something like that. And this is somebody who's like in casting and headshots, this person knows everything. Then they also said she has had a lot of weight gain between pictures after. So I think that's a part of the thing is she pulled a Rebecca where she was insecure about how she looked, even though she looks beautiful. There's not a problem. The only problem is that she is a plant, meaning, she's an actress. That's the problem.
Yeah.
My insider also went to go on and say, she hid most of the photos on her IG. Well, she had an IG, then she closed it, started a new one. Nothing before March 3rd, because I was following Mahogany's old. I don't know if you want to say it's old, but the first one I was aware of when she was
Yes.
she was posting, and I said, "Oh, look, hi, William says hi." So I was following that one, and then it was gone. I mean, all of a sudden, Ben and Mahogany's IGs were both gone at the same time. I'm like, yeah, okay. So, my insider also says, I know other people are saying that she took current pictures and photoshopped them to look like those, but I am telling you from professional graphics artist who has worked on photos, these are not current day photos that she has altered. They are old ones that most likely the photographer altered to glamorize them, but did not structurally change her face at all. I studied the actual face. She looked like a teenager and was super skinny. Don't know if that helps. I think it helps because, there is a difference, which people were saying.
Yeah, I think
that there's so many
altered. Yeah, they're still altered. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can see those are her eyes. That's her nose. But and yes, she's gained more weight. But even if you gain weight, you don't have a completely different jawline. I don't know. It seems way altered.
And then she also just took down, breaking news, or hid her Facebook, which this person was grabbing the stuff from. So that Facebook page is either now down or, super private. And then my friend insiders, posed a legal question. Here's a legal question. Even though she is sending the pictures, she is in an appropriate legal age, she is still sending underage pictures of herself and posting underage pictures of herself to bed. Ooh. Legally. Yeah.
Ooh. That's an interesting.
Yeah. And this is why this person is very smart. Legally, is there a problem here? And if so, shouldn't TLC have known that? shouldn't TLC have said that that was inappropriate and only to send current day pictures if they were going to go the total fake out route? I'm just curious if there is something legally in here, and maybe that is part of why they pulled everything down from her old Instagram and her Facebook.
I wonder why both of them. Why is Ben's down? There's a lot of questions, because why now? Why suddenly now are we taking them down? And yeah, is that why? Because why would you take everything down then? Because she did have pictures where she was clearly an adult in some of the pictures, you know.
And let's not forget that, like, you know, this is like the third couple now this season of 90 Day that, you know, is kind of connected to her. I hate to say it, but like, you know,
I don't think they're frauds. They just just on a season too soon. You know, we thought
there's nothing factually off that came out about Ella and Johnny, but now I'm side eyeing and like looking at everybody, and I'm like, Ella and Johnny, those look like they're gonna meet. You know,
it doesn't look like
so what's this? What's like? Can we do a show, 90 Day Fiance, behind the story that they're showing that they're trying to show, like behind, like the real story, like, you know, like where do they, like, I don't know. It's just wild. Like,
yeah, you know, we thought Ben and Mahogany were going to be the filler story that was going to last like 3 episodes, but it ended up being, you know, Ella and Johnny. You know, we've seen so little. We're going to get a little bit next week, but it's taking forever to get anything. Look, nobody's invested in a couple that when you saw the preview, you're like, oh, this is going to be the couple that I want to know the most about. Then it turned to nothing.
you know, especially when it comes to this, but they just texted me again. At what point does something seriously bad happen because they are more concerned with keeping as much money as possible versus investing into safety? And like, you know, how many times, you know, they've got so many positions to fill now with all the shows that they, you know, it's hard having 40 spinoffs and trying to cast all that.
Yeah, if you want to crank them out every couple of months too, you know, it's like, you can give us some space. How often do we need to watch any one of these individual series that you can't find?
Oh, and you know what? I'm happy that my Discovery app was free for a year, because if I can cancel it, I would. Now they're putting the Single Life on TV. So like you don't even need to have this Discovery app. Like, you know, if you're a 90 dayer and you have the Discovery app that you're paying $5 a month to, just for 90 day, they just replay what they put on the app on the TV at some point anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What a waste.
I mean, I'm using the Discovery app because I have no TV right now. I'm in the RV.
There's a lot to like the Discovery app other than 90 Day, but like, you know, if you're like, for me, that's the only reason why I have it. And thankfully Verizon gave it to me for a year free. So,
you know, they have every season on there. They have every episode, and then they have all of the, like, if you just want to follow one couple all the way from beginning to end, they have all that broken down on there. So it just depends on how invested you are in a series like this. It's a lot.
Well, I'm invested. Hi, but I'm just like, hi. But I'm like, you know what? You know,
Positively, Paula's right. They have all
Elizabeth,
the ID
thank you.
stuff. Yay!
Williams. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah. They do have all the ID channel stuff, though, if you want to watch murder stuff. So
and like Sister Wives and like, you know, all the other stuff. So I mean, it's, you know, but that's all. And then like, you know, when I had to like start paying for it, so we're good. I have all the knowledge in my brain, anyways. Like, you know, I've watched all these shows from beginning to end, so you know, it's all up here. It's all up in the noggin. So I don't need to pay for it.
You know, I would also like to point out, what kind of a messed up season is it when Kimberly and Usman are the most legitimate couple?
I mean, I'm dying to know if Memphis was really pregnant or had the baby and married him. Like,
I went to her Instagram and all I did was I was just looking at dates of stuff, and there's like an entire year where you've got no pictures. So
she's been like posting like
narcissistic posts, yeah,
like or better to be alone, like all that stuff. But I'm like,
yeah,
that to me is like you're trying too hard. Clearly, CLC wouldn't want you posting or intimating that you were alone at all. I didn't want anybody knowing anything. So why are you gonna keep hinting that you're alone, unless you were trying to hide something? That's how I see it. You're trying too hard, just a little bit too hard.
A little hard. But I will say, people come off one way on the show, and then in reality, we find out that they're quite different people. So maybe what was it? I've lost how to say his name. Who's Hamza? Maybe Hamza is really a bigger problem than he comes off on the TV, because we're finding out Mike is a lot more problematic than he comes off, and he comes off pretty problematic.
Barbie heard there is a baby, so. Oh. And like, I don't think that her ex had posted a lot of stuff on Twitter about like her being like married, and no. I think Memphis's mother said to Hamza in an Instagram post, "Oh, there's my like beautiful son-in-law or handsome man or whatever, handsome son-in-law or whatever." So that was like number one, and number two, like her ex, not the one she had kids with, but like afterwards said that, yeah, we dated, and she's like bipolar, and she also was pregnant and had a baby and married him. So.
Yep.
And then she's like posting all this stuff, like trying to make people think that she's alone. So
yeah, but it's even more than that. When you're implying that you're trying to get away from a narcissist or an abuser, it hits a little different. So, I don't know.
I couldn't deal with like the slow talking, like, are you ready to sign the prenup? Like, and like she just talks like that, like in the confessionals. I can't, like, just faster. It's all business with her. But like, listen, they seem to be, if all that's true, the most successful couple this season, I would think.
I mean, if he made it here, then they definitely are. So.
I mean, there's a baby and a marriage, and so I think that they have to win this season, because who else is left?
Nobody. Well, I guess Jasmine and Gino, maybe they're still together in their own very bizarre way.
Let's hope for the whole world that they're not together.
Why? Would you like them dating different people? Would you like different people involved with them? Or should we just keep them together so that nobody else has to deal with that?
Well, they're all part of like the 90 Day Fiance sex ring circle, with Gino and Jasmine, Mikey and Ximena, and now Mahogany.
They are indeed. She's been posting some interesting photos lately with big, long blonde wigs and her boobies shoved up about as high as they can go. It's something.
Which I think is a good segue to get to Mike and Ximena. Because what's left to say about Mahogany and Ben? That we all know she's an actress. Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, yeah, I have something to say about it. Because Carmen said something, Larissa's Carmen, on my post, and I wanted to. Carmen had wrote, and Carmen, we love Carmen. She goes, okay, so singers can be on the show with a real storyline, but actors cannot. I see where Carmen's going with this, and singers have been on a show, like Ymir, Chelsea from season 2, and if you want to consider Usman a singer, then he's another one. But
Evelyn, that other Evelyn.
Oh yeah, Evelyn. She was an American Idol with her apples, New Hampshire, and New Hampshire has the best apples, and I gotta take my apples everywhere. That Evelyn. Yeah, that's fine, but you really can't be an actress and then like, oh hi, I'm an aspiring actress.
Yeah.
How are you going to like put that out there? That, oh hi, I'm John, I'm an aspiring actor. And, while I was, in between gigs and bartending at night, I went on an international dating site where I met Philippe. And Philippe is someone who I've spoken to a couple of times, but I'm going to take my shot of love and just move and just go over there and see what's up. Meanwhile, I probably talked to Philippe one time in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So are you going to believe that I'm really an actor, but I'm really trying to find love with this guy I've barely talked to ever? Or are you going to believe I'm just an actor looking for work? And what a great way to get a foot in the door is to be on Sunday night's best rated cable TV show.
I mean, I will say some of the ones that are actors do really get married. They have real relationships. The problem is, who married the guy from Moldova? Who think of her name?
Oh, Andre and Libby. Okay,
yeah, Libby. Yeah, it's a real relationship. So my problem is that when you have an actor and an actress.
Well, Libby did do one episode of Homeland as a cashier, for 10 seconds. You're true, mm-hmm. And then she did that Crispal. I meant to say Christian. I meant to say Christian and gospel. Oh my God. She did that Christian gospel horror movie because someone didn't go to confession before they took communion. So, whoops. That was a real nail biter.
So, but to me, the problem with them being actors isn't so much that they aren't really in a relationship. It's that they're willing to depict their relationship in the most outlandish ways if they are asked to. They won't push back. They'll be like, this is TV. Sure, I will make my relationship look as stupid as you'd like me to. I will do all of these fights with my family members that aren't real. And so it's not what you're seeing through the TV is fake. It's fake. Yes, they might be in a real relationship, but that's the only thing that's real that's going on. So that's the problem with actors.
Well, then, look at Jeffrey. He was on a ton of that ID channel stuff, and but when he was on the show, he wasn't showed as an actor. He was showed as whatever they said he did.
Exactly. They never tell us the truth. They never tell us what you really. Same thing like Natalie and Mike. They really got married.
Natalie was an actress in Ukraine. Not Ukraine. And Natalie, are they both? Yeah,
she's Ukrainian. Yeah,
yeah, and so is Yar. Yar was also an actress. You had Angela, who was on Maury, and Darcy, and Darcy had their own show. Molly had her own series on VH1, Double Divas.
Yep.
There's been a ton of people,
and they've really gotten married, and they had real relationships that some went okay, some did not go okay. But look at how much more ridiculous their storylines were than one that. Where they're really not actors. Their storyline was ridiculous. Did Angela really would she have thrown a cake in Michael's face if it hadn't been for, being comfortable being in these ridiculous scenarios from being on Maury? I don't know. Would she? Was that real? That seems silly. You're ruining a perfectly delicious cake. I don't know.
Well, yeah, probably. Angela does like her cake. I have seen Angela mad, and she hasn't thrown anything at me, at least yet. But I have had stuff thrown at me by other people, so I don't know. I can really push somebody's buttons when I want to, and yes, I've had a couple of things thrown at me in the past, so it's cool. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think if you're an actor, you're willing to do the stupider things. If they put a storyline in front of you, you're willing to do it, even if it's not an accurate depiction of your relationship. That's my problem.
You want to hear a funny story about things being thrown at me? I'll give you a funny story. So, I think I was in 10th grade, and me and my grandmother used to play Scrabble all the time. And my grandmother was so annoying because, she would take the S and link the S to like a big old 70-point word I had. And then she would make a stupid word with her S and get both words, and get those points. And It would drive me. She used to take her S and she would she go S and she would put it on the board and she goes, "Ha ha, I win." So there, it was 10th grade. It was 10th or 11th grade. No, it was 11th grade because I was getting a little more confident as I got older. And we were sitting playing Scrabble at the kitchen table, and I never beat her once. And this is it. I finally had her, and I was going to do it with the S. And she didn't even see it coming. So I put my word down, and I had the S, and I had like triple word from the beginning, and with triple worded her word for 100 points, and then triple worded my the other way. It was like a 400-point extravaganza of points, and
Nice.
and I took the S, and I said, and I went like this, S. And she looked at me, and she had a whole glass of soda this big, and she just put it in the glass and right in my face, just drenched soda, like a whole pint glass full of soda, just all over my face. And so yeah, I know how to I just know how to. I've been getting under people's skin since pretty much I've been born. So
did it still feel like victory though, even though
it
you
sure
were
did.
okay?
I was laughing. I'm like that S tastes so good. Even my grandfather came in. He was laughing. I'm like, I got you. She was so mad. She raised me to be like a poor loser, just like she is when she loses. So, oh my God, it was, and that was like one of her two favorite stories to tell about me when she threw the soda when I beat her at Scrabble. She loved that story.
It's a great story.
And we
It's
had
a good story.
a white kitchen, that was it was in her eating kitchen, and then in her eating kitchen we had it was like a white leather. We had like a booth on one side, and it was like a big, and she with that soda, and she didn't care. She was like, right in my face. I was like, that's fine. And we never played Scrabble ever again. That was the last time we ever played Scrabble.
No, that's because you beat her. She's been bested. The student became the master. She can't have that. She can't have that.
I love that story. Oh, I miss her so much. All right, so where were we? Let's reel it back in.
Okay, bunch of fakers. Okay.
So back to not Gino, but although a faker, Ximena and Mikey.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
Well, thanks to an informant, Ximena went live last night. Well, she did a live, and then she did like a couple of posts, which I posted. And basically, like the first post, part one, she's saying that she met Mike through working on a webcam. Wow,
Yep.
how do you find these people so in love with each other? Guys, isn't this crazy how it just
it's not every man's dream. I just feel like people that partake of the webcam, that's the dream, right? To actually have one of these ladies. So, yay, Mike!
because you felt a certain way because you saw Ximena. He's paying for everything. That's how it was shown.
Right.
He's paying for everything. He's paying for her. He's paying for the kids. He's paying for the family because Ximena was probably making good money on the webcam. And he goes, no, I want you to be mine. So you stop. And that's why he was paying for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She got to know him. She thought, he seems like an all right dude. Yeah, let's give it a try. I'll get off of the webcam. You pay my bills. We'll be in a relationship. Yeah, let's give it a go.
And he came down and probably gave her everything that she wanted the first trip. And then that's why the checks stopped coming in the mail. And I can't even get mad at Ximena for that because, he told her that I'll take care of you. Don't work.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, I got a lot of people to take care of. And he's like, fine. And then maybe
Yep.
the money dried up or whatever, because he actually probably thought, well, I'll go down there and razzle and dazzle her, and then she'll be forced to like, to fall in love with me. And then he left, and she's like, okay, next.
Yep. We should give a special shout out to Elizabeth W., who's one of your members, who did she did the translation on your last post. It's pretty good.
Which one on the
on the long video? She did the long video one in the comment section.
Where is Elizabeth W?
Oh, she's right here, right at the bottom. She says, "Yep."
Well, thank you. Okay, we're gonna get to that because thank you. I was hoping somebody would. Oh my god! And talking about the translation, thank you. I was hoping somebody would do it, but we weren't home last night when all that stuff was happening, and I just kind of posted what she said in Spanish, and then when she went live, it was like I think 25 minutes or 22 minutes or something like that, and that's way too long to fit onto Instagram. So I just taped it and I threw it all on YouTube, and I said, here it is. And obviously I was not home and I couldn't, but people were like, why didn't you post this if we couldn't translate it? I'm like, well, it's not like people don't know what Spanish is. It's like pretty popular language. Lots of people speak it. It's not like I'm asking anybody to like translate ancient Sanskrit or Aramaic, Latin. So I just threw it up there thinking that there's enough people that speak Spanish that can probably translate it for people who don't, because I probably and I have a good, understanding of Spanish, and I barely understood any of it. And I was like, somebody will. So thank you, Elizabeth W., for doing that. So I'm going to actually read that in a second. So that was on YouTube, right, Elizabeth W.?
Yeah. She did it on YouTube.
So that was that. So on the first part, webcam, blah blah blah. Mike paid for her services, and that she saw. That she saw his privates. Then he told her to stop working and he will pay for everything. And then she said, fine. And she stopped working as a webcam escort. So then she goes live. I guess that was, I put her two posts together. Then the person was like, why aren't you translating it? And then let me go to YouTube so I could pull up what Elizabeth translated. That's on my channel. Let's see. Oh, that's me live. Oh, hi everybody.
You are in fact live.
I am. My comments. It's not loading, but I'll get there. So, why are my comments loading?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Do I have to read it? Okay, there you go.
Oh, I got you, Elizabeth W. Rough Spanish speaker here. Here is the rundown. She worked as a cam girl. Mike bought access to everything like messaging or massaging. Wait, what?
No, it's messaging.
Messaging, and would buy services all the time. He fell for her and told her to stop working, and he'd pay to take care of her, meaning to pay for everything. Oh, can I pin this? This is very good. Oh, I did. Oh, no, I lost it. Shh. Oh, there we go. Okay. A few months passed where they really did like each other, and they decided to meet each other, but they had to wait for vacation time. He shows up, and he isn't what she expected physically because he said he was tall, but that's okay because they wanted to get to know each other. She noticed that he had a temper and was put off by it. I'm a bit unsure here about who hit a door edge. I think it was him. She begins to recount the relationship. She explains how she described her past relationships and how disgusting he was despite her telling him to stop with those habits. She then talks about how eager he was to marry her. Wow, Elizabeth, you put time into this. Dang. She explains that she never wanted to leave Colombia for the US, and this was a major argument between them because he didn't want to live in Colombia. This was a fight that made her think that he'd want to call off the relationship because she was adamant about living in Colombia. That's why she felt like Mike was never coming back and why she gave him the necklace. Going on. When he came back, they set a date for the wedding. He had been buying all this stuff for her, like a stove and house appliances. Sorry, but upon his return, she noticed his habits remained, and that's when she knew she couldn't marry him. She hated the most. She hated the most that he should sit there and watch her, not stare at her in bed lovingly. She means creepy stalker like. It made her so uncomfortable she could not sleep. She told him, if you don't stop, you can go sleep in my kid's room. Wow. Wow, and there's a lot more. Okay. Ooh, I need to hold on. I need to spill my voice is getting hoarse. Hold on.
I know, she did a very comprehensive
Wow, I had no
translation.
idea this was this detailed. Okay. After the room change, she told him that she wanted to break up. She just couldn't be with him. Off camera, he began to hit himself, screaming that he wanted to die over and over again. He threw a fit. She told him, please don't act that way in front of my children. Why would you want to die over a woman? He started hitting himself harder, and her kids were trying to mimic him and threatening to jump off the balcony. Good grief. All of this was terrifying to her. She cried, but she got herself together and was able to get her children to bed. Oh. The next day, she thought we could all look at the situation with clearer eyes. So they decide to go on an outing, and her best friend tagging along, who is gay. Mike didn't like that her friend was a gay man. Oh.
That tracks.
Well, that goes back to the memes and stuff that we.
So
maybe Mike really hasn't changed his ways.
Yeah,
because at first I was Team Mikey, but I have to say, the scales have tipped in the other way for me.
Yes, they have.
Because all that stuff that we did the live about last week about the memes that Mike was sharing and the stuff that he said, and everyone's like, and I even said, it was a long time ago, 10, 11 years ago. So, yeah, maybe that was someone from a decade ago and not the person who this is now. But this seems to me that he's probably the same. And he's been filming.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm kind of on Ximena's side. So hold on. Mike didn't like that her friend was a gay man. They went to a club and started drinking, but Mike didn't want to be there. He was bored and didn't like being around the friend. Mike said around 6 a.m., I have to go to work. Well, I mean, it's 6 a.m. though at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm also, my birthday's coming to put me officially in my mid-40s. So, you have different type of energy in your 20s. Like, I remember going out on a Friday night and not coming home till, Monday morning back in my 20s when you had time. But I had to go to work, so I'm going to head out. She said, okay. They got a taxi and headed home. At 7 a.m., she and her friend left the club and went to get breakfast. Lord, had I known this was this detailed, I would have done a whole live.
That's what I'm saying. She did around this. Job.
But now we're already this deep in, so let's keep going.
Yes.
After breakfast, they headed to her mother's house around 9 a.m. This is where he started to wake up and ask her about the other men. She said yes, that there were other men, but she said yes, but there were other men, but they were gay because my friend is gay. She was offended by this and explained that being out at this hour is normal here, She thought this man isn't my husband. I don't need to explain myself. All right, let's be like a little bit, getting a little parched again.
So I mean, we did see that on the show where they went out to the club, and Ximena was like, she already really did not like him being back. So you can kind of see in the timeline where all this happened.
She didn't come home till 9:00 in the morning. If she was excited about him being back, she wouldn't have left anywhere. She would have stayed home with him.
Yep. And she's out with her gay.
Back. Listen, my fiance is back after months. Listen, I'm on my way out. There's a TV dinner in the freezer. Oh, by the way, watch my kids, and I'll be home 2 hours before The Price is Right starts. Like that, yeah. Like, no, come on. All right, here we go. Oh my God, we're okay. Later, I feel like I'm reading like Apartment 3G. Remember that comic? Later that day. Later, after an awkward day, they went to play pool where she explained she no longer wants to be/live with him. She wants to be single. She said that she thought she was lying about breaking up, but she was adamant. This is when he ran out into the street and started to throw another fit. He started yelling, "I don't want to lose you. You have to stay with me. You have to." They returned home, but she was afraid that he might hurt her with something like a knife. From her PTSD, I guess, from the mobster.
Her other crazy exes, yeah.
With other men, she began to think of all the ways he could hurt her. It was then she knew she needed him out of her life. So she tells him, "I need you to leave. I don't want to be with you." He again threw a fit, arguing that you have to stay with me. You have to live with me. I buy you all these things. You owe me. She told him money isn't everything. Sure, I can live on it, but I'm not happy in this situation. When she returned the ring, he called her, treated her like a bitch, saying to remember that before him, she worked for an adult. He said, remember that you worked for an adult website, saying, remember where you came from. She returned with, yeah, that website where I met you. She's like, yeah, okay, you're going down with me if you say it. Upon hearing this, he tried to lower her voice, begging her not to reveal that. I mean, come on, Mikey. She states that she was not ashamed to do what she said she needed to do to provide for her family, like she was doing before she met Mike. She says, B or no B, this is what I could do to support my family. A B is a woman that hustles. So you don't know what it is like to live my life. She talks about the hard work she saw her parents do and how she worked with them as a child. She then said that she thanked Mike for all that he has gave to her, and she wished that he found the right woman that would love him the way he needs. But that woman was not her. We're almost there. I have 2 more paragraphs. We're almost there. I might do the cast reveal on a different live and just cut this one short.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's see. She said she's done with all the criticism that all stories have 2 sides and people didn't see the true reality. She talks about another hitting of the door edge. Again, I'm still confused here about the verbiage. But he becomes so enraged that he goes to hit her. I think that she alleged that he had hit her or threatened to hit her.
He had threatened to, and she's like, bring it.
And but then I think that she had said that he didn't, but then I think she said that he did. I think
it's a little confusing. Yeah, I don't know that
very
he did.
Confusing. Okay. She says, "Oh, you want to hit me? If you're such a big man, why don't you hit me?" She explains that she started to cry. He puts his fist down and she says that was the end. She called her mom up crying, and he left the country. Once he was gone, she felt safe enough to recount the whole sage. I'm sure it says meant to say saga. The whole saga to her mother. Past this, she could not say much more, but keep watching and you'll see how much more there is. She says people comment that she should be grateful for Mike, but Mike wasn't there years before. She worked out what she had before. Finn. Ooh, I haven't done that much out reading.
It was a
Wow,
cold read too. It was a cold read.
I had to post that on IG because wow, you really that must have took you hours.
Right?
Thank
Rewind,
you.
play
That
again.
was a lot of work that you put into that. God, thank you. That's okay. So, you know, I was kind of, you know what? I kind of believe every word she just said.
It tracks. It matches what we saw on the show. And I said previously, what is this big reveal that she has? We all know who Mikey is. And I was clearly wrong. We did not know who Mikey was. You know, if making if getting a good edit for Mikey was talking about him farting and burping and having dirty underwear, that was the nice edit that he got. And he still got hit those three things. That's gotta tell you, there's a problem with this dude.
Yeah, I believe every word of this because here's why. Because, was she flaky when she got caught? What we broke the story about her with the TikTok and her new man. Did she lie about it? Yeah, but how often do cast members lie when they're caught immediately and then they change their story? They're probably, don't forget they're getting paid, and how the cast gets paid is like they get half their money straight up, and then they get the other half after like the tell-all's film.
Okay.
So, you don't want to screw up because then you won't get paid. It's like half and half. So when that came out, I'm sure of course she lied. Everybody lies, and then you realize you can't lie about it, but you're probably worried about like not getting paid or screwing up your NDA or getting sued or whatever. So yeah, they try to cover their tracks and it never works, but whatever. So did she lie about it and say she was hacked and there were old pictures? And yeah, she threw every excuse out there. She did.
She did.
Absolutely. But the next day she owned it. So I don't know if everything I fully believe that she said, like, about the hitting stuff. I don't know. It was very unclear and shaky. But what I do believe is the whole thing about like her being part of like the webcam and her and him saying, stop working. I'll pay for everything. And she would have to send that to him. And that makes perfect sense, right?
Yep.
Like,
yeah. And it lines up with what happened on last week's episode where his friend was translating and she said, well, he told me that he would pay for me. And I had a job before I met him. And her, the friend was like, wait, what? So, I mean, it all tracks. It all tracks.
And let's not forget like how mad everybody was at Anfisa, which is a good, comparison with Georgie when Anfisa demanded all this. And, Anfisa wasn't even a webcam girl. I know she did like some light stuff, like, but after the show was on, but like, well, whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying, remember how people were with Anfisa because she demanded it, and then, Anfisa and him didn't even meet that way. I mean, Ximena was Mikey was a client to Ximena, just like, well, if I had to make another comparison, just like Gino had Lindsay, who he said that was a client.
Yep. And there's like, you're trying to create a power differential, right? So by saying that he will now pay for her, it's saying, okay, I'm the more powerful person in this relationship. I now kind of own you. I now control what you're doing. You're not going to go down here and do this stuff anymore. At first it sounds like it's caring, but then you look at it a little deeper and it's not caring. It's not caring. It's ownership. It's, you know, you can't go out to these clubs and hang out with your gay friends. You can't do all of these things. And she was just over it. She was over it.
Yeah. And, you know, he stopped paying. She wanted her breasts and whatever. And he stopped because I guess he thought, you know, he was going to win her over. And again, he had to have known that she was out of her league. I mean, you know, and then doing the farting on top of her and having to having the skid marks in your drawers, like, you know, and then God, if you know like that you're that type of guy and you're just meeting this person, like do your own laundry, bro.
Yeah.
Or don't shit here. Or you know, just
get a bidet if you can't get in there real nice and, you know, I don't know what's going on.
In the bath. Like, come on. There's the other, you know. Because I think everybody was feeling really bad for Mikey. And I have to say, I really do believe, and again, like about the what hittings, I don't know, you know, because that was very unclear, but I believe every word about the webcam and he, you know, because do you think that Mikey is going to tell his grandfather? Maybe he'd tell his father, but his father and his grandfather that, like, you know, he's going, you know, to meet this girl, but he's paying her. I can't see him doing that with his grandfather because the grandfather wouldn't understand. I'm sorry. So I don't think the grandfather and the dad knew. God, I sure hope to God not. But
yep. But then if we also look past, you know, when there was a point where she was like, I will just go and get a job. I don't need this anymore. And then he starts trying to use an emotional manipulation of I'm going to kill, you know, I'm going to hurt myself if you don't stay with me. You can't leave. And then he's whacking himself in the head, right? You know, it's just another way to control somebody and make them feel responsible for you in a way that won't let you leave. Or else I'm going to do this terrible thing to myself. So he was throwing out all kinds of tricks there. It's gross.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for him anymore. And he's being filmed right now. And again, you know, you could see it, like everything. It makes so much sense. Like when she, you know, when he proposed and she kept like, you know, she never wanted to marry him.
No, but I think, you know, she was hoping there would be
maybe
some changes.
At one point,
like she pointed out, these are things that are gross that you do. Can you correct this behavior? He came back. He hadn't corrected anything. It was like, I'm done wasting my time with this dude. I'm done. I'm over it. Yuck.
Because we were, you know, led to believe. And like production knows this too. And like, you know, at the end of the day, like we're getting screwed by TLC again because obviously production knew and they're editing it to a way to make it seem like, oh, Mikey is the savior. And he's white knighting her and he's paying for like her and her children and her family. And he's this great guy, you know, and does he look like a minion? Yes, but look at the great big giant heart he has.
Exactly. But no,
and meanwhile,
not really.
He was paying her. The whole time we saw them on 90 Day Fiance, he was paying Ximena to act like she loved him.
Yep. To keep her invested.
That's not even alleged. That is fact.
Yeah.
And then we're all thinking, oh, Mikey, myself included. Oh, you're such a great guy to take care of her. And you've got a good heart and you're quirky. You know, you got a great personality. And then, you know, even when the stuff came out like last week about like the stuff you said about the gays, the stuff you said about the Asians, the stuff you said about the blacks, the stuff you said about everybody. And everyone's like, oh, you know, myself included. I was like, you know, that was like a decade ago.
Yep. But we tried to make excuses. We tried to make excuses and say, this can't be who he is.
And I said, like, you know, could it be him now? Absolutely. And people were like, no, a leopard never changes their spots. And it's true. But then people are saying, you know what? It was a long time ago. Maybe he had an awakening, which is also true. And come to find out that he at least still feels this way about the gays. So if I'm looking at this grand picture, he probably still feels the same way about everybody else in that circle that he went off on.
Yep.
And, you know, And like, you know, I've never seen everybody so run to someone's corner, like, you know, because no, Mikey's a good guy. You guys don't know it. You guys don't know he's a great guy. He's a great guy. But he was literally paying this woman to love him, to be on the show.
Yeah.
And what's happening now, because everybody loved Mikey so much, they're filming him right now. So all it took was him to pay for someone's love and attention, and pay their rent, pay for their children, pay, and look. And you can't tell me any differently. You can't. Not on this.
Listen, I was saying, ladies, jump in his DMs. You know, I was saying the same thing. I was like, he seems like a good dude at heart. But then more information comes out. He's a creepy person that stares at her when she's sleeping. You know, he won't leave her alone. He is gross.
He was paying for it, and just like Gino. And I'm sorry, but there's no proof that Jasmine is, you know, sugar cub, sugar girl,
sugar baby,
whatever. There's no proof, but you know, I do remember Lindsay and, you know, Tara saying, well, you know, we think that's how they met, but there's no proof. But you know, look at what we've been dealing with this season. You know, even if Jasmine wasn't a sugar baby, she's the first person in years that Gino found not on a sugar baby site. Let's look at those odds. I mean, it's going back to at least, I think 2015 was like the first email. 2016, he's been on sugar baby sites paying women for their time and company. So it's 2022. So for at least 6 years, 7 years, he's been doing it, and then all of a sudden, the angel Jasmine appears on some other site. I mean, if listen, I'm not saying that he found her there. I'm just saying, did he also play lotto that day? Because he should have. Maybe he did, and maybe that's why he has enough money to take 5 luxurious vacations within 5 luxurious vacations. I would love to know how much that man spent on that whole Panama trip and the 5 luxurious vacations within the luxurious vacations within the Panama trip.
And he was there for like a month, right? That wasn't a short vacation. He was there for like a month, I think. So
that man can't go to like Joann's Wigs and get himself a piece.
Well, why would he? He can just wear a hat.
I mean, is the hair club for men still around? Can he not get transplants? I mean, those trips, taking private planes to like uncharted islands and like all this, you know, I couldn't even imagine how many tens of thousands of dollars that all cost. And you have to wear a hat with a landing strip in the back because you want to make it seem like you have hair in the back of your head. Come on. And
he prioritizes different things than you. That's all.
Don't we all feel just stupider for watching the show?
I mean, yes, but also it is interesting to kind of deep dive in to what's really going on, what's happening psychologically in these people's minds. Sometimes it's a little bit interesting to break it down when you see people doing crazy things that you would never do, right? You're like, what is the thought process here? How do we get here? Is this real? So we can see parts of it were real with this particular story, you know, and they just softened all the edges of it. real soft. They really softened them.
I agree. Yeah, let's okay, yeah. I never Okay, so the MVP of this live was Elizabeth W. for
100%.
giving us like a Danielle Steele's worth romance novel of like what I mean, you didn't miss a beat. So Elizabeth W., Elizabeth Weller, you get the MVP of this because like I've read sonnets and Shakespeare like less than very good. So let's do the cast. Are you free tomorrow?
What's tomorrow? Saturday? Sure.
Yeah. Let's do the cast. We'll do the cast tomorrow because that'll probably take another hour on its own. So let's do that. I had no idea this was so detailed. And again, I don't think I've ever been more impressed in my life. I'm gonna post this on IG. Say again, John. So we're gonna do a quick afterlife for the associates in hire. Again, I don't know. Everyone, I say so much. It's like my word. I can't not. It's like remember when you like people like say like hey, like I'm John. I'm like nice to meet you. Remember that? Like mine, like that's me with So I'm gonna set the afterlife up. It's 10:20. Yep. Let's do it for 10:30. Like 10 minutes.
Ooh, that's quick. All right, sounds good.
Oh, is that too quick?
No, not for me.
Let's do 10:40. Yeah, 20 minutes. Break, 20-minute break, bathroom break. So guys, thank you so much. This was fun. We'll do the part 2. Well, we'll do the cast reveal tomorrow. Whether in the afternoon or at night and then we're also doing a head slumber party thing tomorrow night on YouTube. Okay, but we'll talk about that in the after show. Guys, thank you so much. Love you all. I will see you in about 20 minutes for the after show. 10:40. Bye, guys.
Bye.